Welcome to Finance Matters, a production of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. I'm Daniel Pasley, and today I want to share with you some of the achievements of the FID, that's the Financial Investigation Division. And who better to speak to us about this than Chief Technical Director of the FID, Mr. Robin Sykes. Thank you so much for coming on the program once again.
It's great to be here again.
Now, tell me some of the successes that the division has experienced over the years.
I think our success, we like to measure our success not by, arrests and things like that, but really at the end of the day, what is the courts, using the legislative tools to get the decisions of the court in our favor. And it has been a bumpy road because proceeds of crime is a very complex bit of legislation. But for example, we recently got pecuniary penalty orders against an individual, I think out in the West, for $17 million. So this is a case where we carried the process straight from the criminal conviction to the court looking at all of the elements of that person's lifestyle to determine, okay, well, this is the benefit you got out of your lifestyle as a drug dealer. Then the court said, okay, this is the money that you have to pay, representing your benefit back to the your benefit and paying that back to the state. So that we thought that is groundbreaking in that it was a post-conviction criminal lifestyle forfeiture order, and that individual now has to pay back money in addition to the sentence that he has served to the state.
Right.
I think that was approximately $18 million.
Wow.
Right. We also use the civil courts to proceed against assets where we believe them to be the proceeds of crime. That had some good successes in that area. For example, one well-known drug dealer who is currently imprisoned abroad, we use those powers to acquire his bank accounts here. We have also had cases being adjudicated in the Court of Appeal on civil recovery. In one case, we recovered about $1.5 million US, where the individual had that money in a freezer in her house, and it so happened that her relatives were convicted drug dealers. So it's a case where, you use the civil courts and the civil procedures to recover that money. So the Court of Appeal recently affirmed that decision. That money is in the hands of the state. So the real question for us is using these tools carefully and decisively to garner the successes that we all want. And we believe that as more of these recoveries are done, what we want to move to is getting these recoveries not only to the state, but actually back into law enforcement. So that's some of the plans that we have going forward, to use these confiscated funds for the benefit of law enforcement in particular. So that comes up under our asset recovery incentivization scheme that we're pushing for some regulations to allow, when we have assets, we want a portion to be dedicated back to law enforcement.
What are the future plans of the division?
Well, the division is in a very interesting phase now, because we have received a policy directive that we are now to convert from a division of the Ministry of Finance into a department of government. So it allows us a greater financial autonomy, although still within the overall government framework. So as you can appreciate, the nature of our work is not the same as a regular ministry. You'll know that you have an operation tomorrow, but you'll only hear about it tonight. So you have to be able to react faster, and you have to have more authority over your resources. So that's what moving to a department is going to do for us. We are hoping also in that restructuring to strengthen our both the skills as well as the number of officers, because what we're finding is the more successes that we have, the more it is that our partners are coming to us, and we don't want to not be able to service the needs of our partners, whether they're domestic law enforcement or overseas.
Well, we have run out of time, CTD Sykes. I thank you so much for coming over the last few weeks and explaining the role and the work of the Financial Investigations Division. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.